What's up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday. 11-game NBA DFS slate. 2+ hours. Taking you all straight up the lock. They'll hang around after rock a little bit as well, too. Man, Andre, it's tons of body parts are out. We're going to get to it. Our Miami Heats are going to be the focal point, one of the focal points as far as this slate down to, without a lot of players. We'll be talking about that. I think that's the first game actually we'll be digging into as far as this 11-gamer. We go game by game, start at 7 o'clock, work our way up to 10-ish. I'm not sure if it's 10 or 10:30. That's why I said ish. Andre, what's going on, dude? Friday, it's a big boy slate. There's a ton of value out there. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of really good plays that are going to be under owns. How you feeling about it?
I am feeling good about this slate. Feeling good about my bets. Feeling good about making my lineups good. So I think it's going to be an interesting slate, but really good one. I'm looking forward to taking something down and having everyone finish in second place behind me. So I'm here to just give everyone plays to come in second. I'm sorry, but I'm taking first.
Did you? Congratulations in advance. Did you write up some of your bets on scores and odds, or are you going to sprinkle some in throughout the show, or where are they at? Where could somebody find those? Are those posted or just?
No, I'm going to have to sprinkle them in throughout the show because I just got off work and came straight home to do the show. So I'll be just talking about them on there. Yeah, I get them for free today, set up behind the paywall for scores and odds. So take advantage of them if you can.
Just kind of running it down if people aren't aware, like Ben Caro is still out. Drew Holiday expected back. LeBron is questionable. Cade Cunningham is still out. Bam Adebayo is doubtful right now. Ira Winderman, one of their big beat writer, basically suggested it's more likely doubtful than anything. Jimmy Butler's out. Duncan Robinson later on in the day had a hand, so he's out. Of course, Tyler Hero's out. Udonis Haslem, who theoretically could be useful, he's out for personal reasons. Dedmon expected to be available. I think we're projecting an 8-man rotation essentially, but it's going to be super condensed. We'll talk about that in a second. There is some other guys that are still up in the air, right? LaMelo is out once again, by the way. So I guess Jared Allen's one of the big ones who's still kind of questionable. Jokic is still out with his protocols. In addition to Jokic, Jamal Murray is now out with protocols. So Denver is super, super thin. We're not sure about Chris Paul. It's a lot, man. Is there one sort of injury that you're monitoring, or it's just so much? We'll talk about it as we go. It'll come up organically. But is there one you're kind of waiting for? And you're going to react the most?
Well, honestly, I think I'm looking at nothing really matters. Like don't care about the LeBron news. Honestly, tell you the truth, 10K is fine, but he's getting up there in age. The only thing that really is probably the big one for me is going to be the Zion news. I think Zion is a really big one, as well as there's Jared Allen news as well. Those are guys that might have some interest in it wanting to play. But other than that, I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be a lot that I'm really waiting on. The Miami news opened up a lot, but that's fine with me because we already know what season it is, which we're gonna probably get into definitely with the first game being on the slate.
What season is it? I'm trying to think. Is it Kyle Lowry season? Is it Max Strus season? Is it?
No.
Is it Gabe Vincent season?
Nope.
Is it Caleb Martin? Is it Nikola Jovic season?
It is Nikola Jovic season.
Okay, yeah, that's a tough one to project, and we'll talk about it because he started out like gangbusters. He drew the start last time. Surprisingly, a lot of people were expecting him the role with Dwayne Dedmon to draw the start in that game. The absence of Bam, Dedmon came off the bench, and they split, I believe, 40 of the center minutes, so they didn't officially have a center otherwise. There is a person named Orlando Robinson who's available theoretically. I don't know if he's going to get any run. We're projecting Jamal Cain to start tonight, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it seems like there's a path now for Jovic to close, and he didn't close last game. And that was also kind of like he wasn't playing. He kind of disappeared after the first quarter. But let's just start out with that game. Do you want to say what's up to those hanging out in the chat over in the YouTubes? Kindly hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Hit all the bells, hit all the things. Show us your appreciation. So Miami is a 7-point dog here versus Washington. Kind of talked about it as far as the Heat. And again, worth noting, it's not official, but it's very, very likely that Bam Adebayo is out tonight. Jimmy Butler is out. Duncan Robinson's out. Hero's out. Three of their top four, I guess three of their top three guys, right? As far as usage, Hero, Butler, Bam. Caleb Martin expected to play for what it's worth. And again, Duncan Robinson, one of their big three players, 3-point shooters, also unavailable. Lowry, Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Jamal Cain, Nikola Jovic. I mean, this looks like this is a weird starting lineup, but this is what we have. And the bench is just Gabe Vincent, who's like the sixth man who I think is going to close. He may even start, for the record. We don't have an official starting lineup. Dedmon, Haywood Highsmith, and Orlando Robinson. So they're not deep at all. It's a low total. I guess you could argue that. Maybe the pace is going to be low. But otherwise, they're really cheap. And they're gonna play minutes. And that's how this works in NBA. And it's going to open stuff up. Go ahead and talk about Nikola Jovic. Is he your favorite Heat option when everything is considered?
He is only his favorite because of the price point. It's probably the low. I think he's the cheapest of all the Miami guys, if I'm correct. Let me take a look real quick because I have it up while I'm crossing players off on my lineup. Off of my thing. He's the cheapest of them all. He's at 4K on FanDuel, and I think like 3. What is he? 3.5 or 3? Yeah, 3.5 on DK. So DK is obviously a little bit better, but he's an he's a talented offensive player. Like if you still get some of his highlights in EuroLeague, which is not even just playing, he was holding his own. So I like Jovic. I like Jovic a good amount today. Definitely my favorite from a price from a point per dollar standpoint. I'm going to try to get a good amount of him today. And he matches up well against Porzingis. I think we can see him play upwards of 30 minutes tonight because, first of all, why Kyle Lowry should just sit today himself. Like, don't play. Like, let the young guys play at this game against Washington. Let's see how they do and how they hold their own. That way you can get a look at these guys and get them some experience because you're going to need them when it comes playoff time. So I do like Jovic a lot, as well as I like Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent. But after Jovic is going to be Vincent for me, and followed by Poppy Martin.
How many Heat players are you setting any rules? Are you running a bunch of lineups? Are you making one lineup? How many Heat players are you allowing in your lineups today?
I am playing about 3 lineups on each site today, so I probably will have no more than 2, maybe 3 the most, but definitely at least like I would see myself getting with 2.
So I'm running some optimals here on the fly. This stuff, of course, can change. We did this the other day where like I focus on DraftKings and you focus on FanDuel. You think that'll make sense in the interest of time? 11 games, you're good doing that?
Yeah, I'm good with doing that. So I'm playing on both, but that's perfectly fine for me.
And feel free if you have a DraftKings thought, by all means, fire it off. Very first optimal I ran has 4 players for the Heat on DraftKings. The second one's got 2, so 4, 2. The third one has 3, and the fourth one has 1.
That's not a good like I guess way to explain it because it's 1 of each, so it's 25%. So I guess feel whatever you're comfortable with. Like we have a lot of value on the slate. Obviously, all this value is not going to hit. Obviously, with Miami's situation, you have a lot of guys that are going to be playing a lot of minutes that weren't playing the amount of minutes they'll be playing with and being in roles that they haven't been in all season. So that's what you have to take into consideration when it comes to some of these guys and think about who's going to play what role for that team and is their usage going to stand out a little bit more than the others at the same price point or pretty much a couple $100 difference in that price point or tier.
Yeah, and the other reason why, Miami's not the only team that there's value, right? Denver is another one's got a pretty extreme value, a chance of a potential blowout. I'm not sure what rules to put in, but I don't think I'm playing 4 guys on Miami. I'm willing to play 3. And the other tricky part again is it's the 7:00 game and you're locking players in at 7:00, and news can go against you later on, and you have nowhere to put players because your slots are already taken. So. If all of a sudden stuff gets even better, Aaron Gordon is currently questionable for Denver today, and he missed shoot around He wasn't feeling well. If he doesn't go, like Denver gets even thinner, and then they're without Jokic and Murray as is. And somehow Michael Porter Jr. is going to find a way to flop it as well again. I'm still bitter about his last game, but we shall move on from that. It's funny you say a thing about Lowry, and I can't remember if it was you on the show. I think it was you on the show. If it wasn't, forgive me. But remember we had a similar situation about a week or two ago with Washington where it was they were without like 4 of their guys, and all the value pieces were popping up in optimals. And when you're just like, well, why? And like the one that wasn't getting a ton of ownership was Kyle Kuzma, because he was kind of priced up and salary's a thing. Like I feel similarly, it's not the same exact situation, but I just think it's interesting that Lowry is the one that's going to have the least ownership amongst this group. And I know you want him to sit, but as far as we can tell, he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing a lot tonight. We're projecting 38 minutes for old man Kyle Lowry. And, long term, it's probably not a great idea. You're right. As a Heat fan, this game doesn't really matter, right? Mm-hmm. But, if he plays 38 minutes, and I know he's the most expensive guy. He's 6'6", Strus is 5'8", Martin 4'9", Vincent 4'6", Jovic is 3'5". But, I mean, there's a chance, he puts up like a triple-double. Like, that wouldn't surprise me if he puts up, like 19, 11, and 12 or something like that. Probably not getting triple-double as far as rebounds, but possible. He'll be on the court a lot, maybe positive variance, ball bouncing his way. So I'm going to have some Lowry. Well, maybe you didn't say you weren't going to have him. You just wanted to sit because you wanted to sit.
Yeah, I'd just rather have him sit. I just don't think it makes sense for him to play personally, but but anyone could play him. Obviously, I just want to know how many minutes he's going to get. Like, we could see him just play a certain amount of minutes. I think based on the minutes, is like we can see Coach supposed to run him for his normal amount of minutes, or just say, let's just play him the first half or whatever, or play him 3 quarters and not play him the whole fourth quarter. There's a number of different things you can go with, and you can see him see Coach Spo do this tonight that I could at least see him doing with them. So, I mean, he's fine to play with, but he would be my last guy to get him because we know in a blowout he's the first one off the floor.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to Washington in a second. I just don't know, is Washington going to blow him out? Like, maybe.
Bradley Beal looked like the way he did the last couple games is possible.
It's interesting because, like, people aren't really going to play the Washington side. We're going to get to it in a second because Washington is essentially, they're fully healthy. And on this kind of slate, you just kind of ignore teams. Not ignore, but there's no reason, nothing popping out when you're running stuff. Like, math is not saying you have to have anybody in Washington. But, Miami historically a pretty good defensive team. They're defensively weak in the absence of Bam, the absence of Jimmy, playing some guys that, don't get a ton of run. Washington's without DeLon Wright and Jordan Goodwin, but they're super healthy. But it is interesting to play a Porzingis or a Beal, like which we'll touch on. And those guys, I'll pull up ownership in a second, is just super low. Question here in chat from Michael. He wants to know, DK large field, would you play Lowry and Vincent together or separate them?
Separate them for sure because, like I said before, Gabe Vincent will be in the game whether it's a blowout or not. Kyle Lowry will probably be the first guy off the floor.
Yeah, but what if it's close?
then you better have Lowry running it back with Son on the other side. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to play Lowry with Vincent, but I see both sides of it. But I think that they both can get there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if the game blows out, you're right. Lowry has to be the first guy off the court. He's not closing. You have Orlando Robinson and Haywood Highsmith and Gabe Vincent and Jamal Kane and Jovic probably close. I don't think Devin closes. Even though he's coming off the bench, I would guess he doesn't close. He's dealing with a foot injury. Just my guess, but so the ranking as far as Miami. As far as ownership, I guess it's worth touching on. Let's kind of run this down. And obviously, this stuff gets more refined the closer we get to lock. But we got, again, 11-game slate, Andre. DK ownership. Martin, 35%. Strus, 30%. Lowry, 22%. Vincent, 18%. We got Jamal Kane getting to 12%. He's still min, of course. We're projecting 26 minutes on him. And Jovic at 7% ownership because he's not the flat min. He's 3.5. I guess you love the fact he's 7. He's projected to be 7% owned. You're in. If I told you he's 7% owned, you're excited.
For who? Jovic?
Yeah.
7% on DK. That was 13. That was 14. Did it change?
Do I have to hit the refresh button, or do you have to hit the refresh button?
Let me hit the refresh on my end because maybe I am wrong.
It's possible I'm wrong here too.
I see 13.8 on DK.
Okay, well, you know what? Maybe I got to hit the refresh button. Yep, I had to hit the refresh button. My bad. When did they put this up there? Yep, 5:09. So it just happened. Okay. So I have not refreshed in the last 10 minutes. Interesting. Okay, and they have I guess I should go run them back. Some of the other ones went flatten out a little bit. Martin at 26, Strus at 25, Lowry 22, Vincent 22, and then Jovic at 13, Kane at 7. You want to talk about Washington as far as the runbacks, because the only one getting any ownership on DK is Beal at 8%, Porzingis at 2%, 8.2 and 8.4 respectively. I guess you like Beal more than Porzingis. That's what you led with as far as the Washington side.
Beal's just been playing better lately, so I don't mind taking some shots at him. He's still too priced for Bradley Beal, but he is probably appropriately priced based on his role and how he's been playing this season. That's the best way, I guess, to describe the situation with Bradley Beal. But I definitely don't mind. I definitely don't mind taking some shots with him for sure. He at 8.2, I think he would be I think he's a great tournament option. Porzingis is definitely probably would be next for me. He's a little bit expensive, I understand that, but I just think that with the upside here with the front court, he can have a big game here against Miami and give you like a game of like 40 to 45, 50. Maybe even 55 here tonight. So that's someone I don't mind taking some shots on the tournaments today.
Porzingis would just work these guys like Jovic and Kane. Like he's going to do whatever he wants against these guys, right? I feel like that's the case.
It depends how he plays, though, because Porzingis falls in love with the jump shot too much. So that's the only thing you have to really worry about when it comes to him. On that, it's like the picking. He used to be really doing a lot of pick and roll. He does a lot of pick, but he does a lot of pick and pops and just shoots from like 40 feet or 30 feet from three. Just like it's different. So that's why I think he would be my second favorite option. Kuzma's not a bad option to go with, but I just don't think that that's necessary today because I like other guys at that position.
That's where I'm at as well. By the way, Fanduel Optimals, the very first one I ran, 2 Heat players. The second one, 1. Fanduel's a little bit looser today as far as the cap. And again, there's tons of value. 2 Heat players in the second one. 2. So we're looking at 2 Heat players hitting in the Fanduel Optimals. 2 or 1 is what I'm seeing on Fanduel. And, DK, we've gotten up to 4, depending on if you want to grab some of the studs as well, which we'll talk about. Yeah. So anything else to say as far as this game? It's amongst the 11 games, I think it's really, really important to kind of get this one right. We still want confirmation that Bam is officially out. I would love to see the starting lineup, but I feel like we got it projected correct. Is that what you would put it at? Like Lowry, Martin, Strus, Kane, and Jovic? That's what makes the most sense. Maybe Vincent starts. I guess that wouldn't be shocking.
Yeah, if Vincent starts, I like Vincent a lot personally, just from ownership perspective. But if he doesn't, if he starts, I love him even more.
Yeah. If he's coming off the bench, I don't care. For the record, I'm willing to play the guy. He's going to get plenty of run. The rotation should be very, very tight, and I don't know how much they get to Highsmith and Robinson, ideally, unless this game gets goofy, as you suggested. The possibility, if it blows out, then those guys will get some run. You don't play them, though. I can't imagine you play Highsmith or Robinson on this slate. Deadman? Like, what if we see Deadman starting? Would we consider him?
No, because I still think the young guys are going to get more minutes than Deadman in the end. Like I said, I'm just playing from a perspective. I don't think this game's going to be close, so I'm not going to play Deadman at all.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about game number 2, Charlotte versus Cleveland. Speaking of blowouts, I think this one's got a legit shot of blowing out. Cleveland, 10-point favorite at home versus Charlotte. As far as the Charlotte side, LaMelo is out again with his ankle. We did get a midday upgrade to Gordon Hayward to questionable, so I would suspect he's going to play. We'll see. DSJ, Dennis Smith Jr. is still dealing with his ankle, so he is doubtful. Cody Martin not playing. Cleveland is, questionable as far as Jared Allen. He was ill last game. Dean Wade is not officially out, but he's doubtful, one of their bigs. Well, you tell me. I don't love this game because I kind of feel like it's going to blow out. It becomes more interesting if Jared Allen doesn't play. Then all of a sudden, like Mobley is somebody that opens up to me. The Mitchell price and the Garland price is hard for me to get to. Rozier theoretically, should be getting more in the absence of LaMelo, but it's not like he's a discount. Like he was on his way to getting cheaper, but he hasn't quite got there. And Gordon Hayward, his first game back at 6'7". I don't think I can talk to that. I don't like this game really. How about you?
I mean, it has a decent total. I don't like I think Garland's priced appropriately, but Donovan Mitchell's playing tonight as well too. So not really a spot I really want to attack much. I'm looking for guys that on 11 game slate that have more upside than that. I do like the spot for possibly like the bigs though. So if I'll be focused more on like a guy like Mobley or Jared Allen plays, that'd be great. But if not, then I'm focused on a guy like Mobley or Kevin Love here in this spot here. And that would really be it from the Cleveland side. From the Charlotte side, you can run it back with Terry Rozier if you want to. That would be the only guy I would be interested in. PJ Washington's been playing 30 minutes lately, so that's not a bad spot. But I'm just going to, if anyone I'm running it back with, it just be Terry Rozier. But that's really it.
So really only one guy projecting as far as ownership on DraftKings. It's Jared Allen at 19%. We're not even sure if he's playing, but the price is pretty good at 6.5. Again, that would change. Like Mobley currently is 3%. I would imagine he would move up if Allen sits out. He would play more 5, ideally, I presume, which would be beneficial for him. Probably get a few extra minutes as well, maybe 36, 37 if this game stays close. I believe Mitchell, last I checked, is playing the most minutes per game in the league. Maybe that's changed. I'm not sure, but they've been running him a ton. And if this game stays close, I think he's perfectly fine. But 11 game slate, Andre, 2% is his ownership right now. Like that's just the way it is because there's so many studs and there's just a lot I put in front of him. I get it. I understand why he's 2%.
Yeah, I definitely get why for sure, but I think at his price point, Mitchell is just he's a fine play, but and definitely a way to get different GPPs because Charlotte does push the pace. But I'd just rather get to some other guys at that are around that same price point. Honestly, on this slate, honestly, yeah.
All right. Anything else here? Or moving on. I think we're moving on.
Let's move on.
So this is the last of the 7:00 games. And then we have an hour. No, I'm sorry. This is 7:30. My bad. Did I just hear chimes? What was that? Was that an alarm?
No, it's my bottle. A bottle dropped.
Everything all good? I wasn't watching the video. We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
So not a very appealing total, right? Milwaukee, Philadelphia, 211.5. Milwaukee, we're expecting Drew Holiday back. Pat Connaughton was supposedly going to come back last game. He was scratched. Now he's not going to be back again. Matthews still out. Of course, Middleton on his way, but not just yet. Grayson Allen is probable. Philadelphia, kind of important. I don't know, somewhat important. Tobias Harris is questionable. Otherwise, Korkmaz is out too. I don't think that matters so much. We know James Harden's been out for a while. So this slate has a lot of fun. Run this guy and run this guy at each other. Just kind of looking at the slate and thinking of some ideas for tournaments. We'll get to SGA and Joss and enough. I love the idea of playing those two against each other. But and again, I love Giannis and Embiid. Seems like a good time, man. I'm gonna have at least one of those lineups. I'm sure you saw. Was it over the weekend? When was it? When Embiid had the 100-point game, 100 fantasy point game. It's 7 blocks, 60 points, completely insane. Back-to-back games where he scored 100 points in total. He's been on fire of late. This is kind of why I have a hard time, playing Mitchell. It's not that much more. It's more for Embiid or Giannis, these kind of guys. How do you feel about this game, Embiid and Giannis? The two clear pieces you want. What's so funny? What am I missing?
The Steve guy Embiid up there on the screen.
Oh, there you go. Look at the production we have here. Producer Steve's on fire.
I like it. I like it. But I think Embiid is a great option today. I think like I mentioned on the morning grind that Giannis and Embiid running them back against each other is great. Like Giannis might be one of my top, like might be the top player on the slate in my opinion. Like he's expensive on DK. I think he's with 12.7 on DK.
He's a better option on FanDuel, I think.
12.6, yeah, but he's 11.5 on FanDuel. I'm trying to find a way where I make sure I get Embiid and Giannis in my lineup on DK. I mean on FanDuel because that price is just crazy. It's too cheap for what he has done against his team in the past, and specifically when it's competitive too. So I went through the stats in the morning time. I don't have them off my hand right now, but I know that it's been it's just been phenomenal. Almost triple doubles every single game, and no less than 27 points or 26 points, I believe, if I'm correct. So you can at least guarantee a double with him. So if you want to take a bet also for that, do that as well. No less than 27 points in a prop, no less than 10 rebounds. Same thing with Embiid, no less than 25 points, and no less than 10 rebounds is what I have. It's one of the props I have out there. If you want to do alternate ones on FanDuel or DK, I love those props today and building like a little mini parlay. I think that I just think that Giannis is, like I said, overall probably one of the top players spends on the slate. I just would, if I'm playing him with Embiid. I'm not playing no one else on this team, on either team probably, and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, Holiday coming back from his injury, there's no discount as far as his price. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Something I like to do as far as like building lineups is with the lineup HQ. I'll lock in a couple players. I'll say I want Embiid and I want Giannis, and like give me 100 lineups. So or maybe I'll say I want this guy too, or I want that guy too, or I don't want that guy. X somebody out, and just see what it's spitting out.
Mm-hmm.
And like they are expensive. So it's 4.3 on DK. You got an average of 4.3 left, which they're really sucking up a lot of salary. However, like, I just ran some optimals and trying to see what it looks like. And, you got it's Denver and Miami basically with this.
Yep.
That's kind of what it's spitting out. It's spitting out 3 Miami guys, 2 Denver guys, and Emmanuel Quickly, just kind of surprising.
Oh, he's in a great spot today too.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, that's just something I like to do and just, sort of see how that's how I'll make some of my single entry lineups. That's just sort of my thought process. But I will for sure make at least one Giannis and Embiid lineup. It's pricey, but I think you can do it. And there's some cheap stuff out there that can kind of make it work. And obviously they put up 55 each. Like that's almost definitely not going to be enough. Like that's like not going to crush you. But you're looking for. I mean, you're not going to get the 100. That's not going to happen either. But you're looking for like 65, 70 out of Giannis at least, and at least 60 out of Embiid. We can get that, right? I think.
Oh, easily. I think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we get. Like I'm looking for Giannis to give me 65, but I think he might get 70. I think Embiid could get you probably 72. I wouldn't be surprised. He needs to do whatever he can for this team, especially to keep winning. So I picked Embiid to win MVP. Now it's his time to show up and shine and show why he should be MVP this year.
Chris Paul officially out, by the way.
Let's go.
Wizards are starting Morris, Beal, obvious.
Oh, man.
Oh, here's a big one. Oh, my God. Did you see this at Miami?
Told you it's Jovic season.
Okay, so Caleb Martin available. Okay. Dwayne Dedmon's got a foot, so he's out.
And now Gabe Vincent is downgraded.
You need 8 guys to dress or 7 guys to dress? I thought you need 8 to dress.
I think you need 8.
So is it possible Vincent? This is scary.
He might just not play.
So would they dress? If he doesn't start, should I be frightened that he's not going to play? Is my question. He just dresses because for the sake of dressing in the game to go on.
I would hope the coach will give us news in advance. So, but that does cause some concern. I might not play him now, unless you get words from the coach that he's available to play. And now, Caleb Martin will play. Okay, so it's going to be a little scary now. Thankfully, that game is at 7, so we can lock into that and get that news out the way early.
Yeah, but we're down to 8. If you look at our lineups page, we're counting Orlando Robinson twice. He's only one person. So we're down to 8, and if Vincent doesn't start, I'm not, and we saw this situation last night with Keldon Johnson. It's a different situation, but we saw Keldon Johnson was questionable, then he was probable. Then you saw the San Antonio starting lineup about 5 minutes before lock, and he wasn't starting. And it's like, well, this seems really shady. Why would he not be starting? And then 2 minutes after lock, it's like late scratch Keldon Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to make people paranoid, but I'm just saying, what is this? Why would they give him a downgrade that he's questionable now? I'm concerned. I really want him starting.
Yeah, I do too. So if I just have to monitor it and just see what happens. But if, like I said, if he doesn't start or we don't get no words, I would just, if you play 150, reduce your ownership. If you don't get no news, if he is playing and we know, then go ahead full forward steam with him and play him however you're going to play him before.
And if he doesn't play and Dedmon's not playing,
it's already Nikola Jovic season. I'm telling you.
I mean, Jovic has to play 34 minutes or something like that.
Yep.
Basically, man. Okay. Ira Winderman's going to hook us up with some details, hopefully. And yeah, this is the time that they talk about an hour and a half before. So I guess they just talked to the press about 5 minutes ago. That's why that news is coming out. But okay, that's interesting. It's so weird. It's been sprinkled out throughout the day. Earlier, Miami gave us the news in the morning, and then we saw a couple hours later something happened to Duncan Robinson's hand, and now something I don't know what happened to Gabe Vincent's knee. I don't know if Jeff Galooly is on the loose and Tanya Harding. I don't know what's going on there in Washington, but yeah, protect these Miami players at all costs. And yeah, we'll see. But I just thought it was worth going back because just stressing the Heat, the importance in the slate in the Heat, especially if something squirrely happens with Gabe Vincent. If Harris doesn't play for Philadelphia, is there anybody that vaults in oh, they're interesting now, or not? It's going to be a group effort of Niang and I don't know, Melton, and none of them really matter. Is that? I'm not sure.
I think none of them really matter. Not on the slate. It's too big of a slate.
Yeah, Matthew and Chet's reminding us. Yeah, Bam is still officially questionable. So yeah, I know that.
That could be the game changer because if Bam ends up being in,
oh yeah, let's party. Yeah. Bam is the top. Then all of a sudden, your boy Jovic might take a hit. I guess he can play the 4, right?
Yeah, he can play the 4.
Yeah, he's not really. He's more of a 4 than a 5 anyway. As advertised, I think. I don't think he's a center. I'm pretty sure he's not a center. He's just kind of forced to being a center. All right. What's up, TJ in chat? We got to get to 50 likes.
If
we don't get 50 likes, TJ's not coming in for crunch time. That's a heck of a threat. I'm not sticking around till lock. I got lineups to make. So you better find a sub, or it's going to be only. I think Will's coming on. So I don't know if he's protesting as well, if he's a part of that protest. But yeah, kindly hit that like button so you guys can get TJ later. No, I have to. TJ's telling me. Well, TJ, encourage the people to hit the like button. Does it mean that Lowry has to play in a blowout? No. Still no. No, it could be Martin, Strus, Kane, Jovic, Highsmith, Robinson. That's 6 guys. So no, I think Lowry is the one guy that makes the most sense to not play in a blowout. So no. We're done with Milwaukee and Philadelphia, right? It's essentially Giannis and Embiid, and that's that.
Yep.
All right. Then you have half hour until Orlando and Chicago. We got dual prong revenge games here. Mook versus old team. You got Wendell Carter versus old team. And, if you believe in such things, Wendell Carter has been really good against Chicago whenever he plays against them. He's had some really good games against them historically. Patrick Williams expected to be available for Chicago tonight with his ankle, as well as Kobe White with his quad. So the Bulls are as healthy as they've been the entire season. Of course, Lonzo Ball has not suited up all year long. Banchero is still out for Orlando. I know you're playing on FanDuel, man. The bull price over there at 5.3. Oof. And he's center only. It's he's been one of the best surprises in the season for sure. He's taking a leap out of nowhere. He's getting an opportunity, taking advantage of it. What do you think of Bull at 5.3 on FanDuel? Again, center only is a little constricting, but that's a pretty good price.
That is a good price on him. Definitely someone I have interest in playing today. In GPPs, very skilled player. So I'm definitely going to run him for sure. I just don't know how much I'm going to get of him.
Yeah.
Honestly, but I love the window Carter call. Someone I was interested in. I know he's not projecting well on FanDuel at all that well. But he's still honestly, there's gonna be a lot of guys on the slate that's probably not gonna project as well that I really do like a lot. So I'm just going with my gut and how I see the game played. I'm gonna be played out, and that's gonna give me different and make me have some low owned plays. But I think both these guys definitely are good GPP plays. I will play them probably ahead of Franz Wagner, who will be significantly more popular.
DK Wagner is the only player that's grabbing some ownership over 10%. We're looking at 13%. Levine is priced down a bit at 7.3K, so he's getting 9%. Suggs at 4, Vuk at 4. Pretty good price on Vuk for what it's worth. 7.1's a pretty reasonable price. DeRozan at 8K. It's just, I have a hard time doing it when everybody else is in there. The price, I guess, is down enough where I suppose you want to throw a dart at it, I guess. But I don't know. It's not really for me. I think you're getting better prices on FanDuel right now.
Some breaking news. Bam is not expected to play.
Okay.
So Nikola Jovic season is here.
Okay. Interesting. All right. I'd love to get some clarity on Vincent if possible. I'm gonna see if I would imagine that
that's what we're waiting for Miami.
Yeah, I want to see what Winderman's tweeting out about him because I'm sure he put something out there, but I'll do that in the fly. The quote from Spoelstra is, "We will have enough to play." Huh.
That means he probably is not playing.
That's his quote. To Spoelstra, "We will have enough to play." Like, yeah, I mean
he's gonna have you have 8 guys and that's it. 8 guys available doesn't mean 8 guys are gonna play.
His knees swelled up around shoot around as far as Gabe Vincent.
He's not playing.
Gabe's not going to play?
If his knees swelled up around shoot around like warm ups, yeah, he's not playing. Why would you if pregame? Like no. There's no way he plays. Like I can't see it now. You saw his knee swelled up during pregame.
That's what Ira said. He's like the number one Miami beat writer. Yeah, that is interesting. And he's probably also a guy that wouldn't, like, if his knees swelled up and he's giving it a go, right? He probably has his minutes monitored anyway.
I would be nervous, yeah.
Yeah, he was like one of my favorite plays on the slate, and now I'm fully concerned about Gabe Vincent. Let's see. Thoughts on I thought that was about Bull. We were talking about Bull in chat. Triple J. Yeah, Triple J is kind of cheap tonight. I think he's interesting, Jaren Jackson Jr., and he's not going to play 35 minutes because they're pretty deep and he gets in foul trouble and all that, but he's got a pretty reasonable price. We'll talk about him, but I think he's certainly in the pool for sure. Herbert's talking about playing Strus. Yeah, Strus is going to play possibly 40 minutes tonight. Like those Miami guys, man, you got to get yourself some heat. I can't imagine no Heat players being in tonight's GPP winning lineups. I just can't imagine that scenario. They have to put up like 75 points or something like that. And even still, like one guy, you'd think. Just as far as Orlando, by the way, you were talking about FanDuel. I like that Wendell Carter price at 7K. Better price on FanDuel. Only 2% owned. That seems a little low. I like that as a tournament. Oh, wait. The chat's saying Vincent's out. Has that been an update? Wait, he can't be out because
he's out.
Well, then they don't have enough players.
Gabe Vincent now out. Let's have someone from the G League to come up.
Where's the G League team? Is it like right next door?
I have no idea.
Don't you need, unless the rules have been changed, I thought you needed 8 players to dress.
He can dress and just not play.
Okay.
You can say he's out and just not play when he can still dress. They've done that before.
Man, I wish they didn't do that. I mean, I wish he would have dressed and that wasn't mentioned or something. What's the quote on that? Because I think there was an edge in that where people would have played him and let's see.
Now you got to play. Let's just go back to that real quick. Like I have to now look into Jamal Cain and see about him.
Could you pick Jamal Cain out of a lineup?
Hell no. I definitely cannot. So he available players: Kyle Lowry, Jamal Cain, Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Nikola Jovic, Haywood Highsmith, Orlando Robinson. That's 7 players. So I think that's enough. So that means, oh my gosh, like
yeah. And Highsmith and Robinson are probably not going to get a ton of run. Like they might play, like say you give them 20 minutes each. Like just say that. Like there's so much more to go around for those other 5 are going to play so many minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Like our projection team's working on it, and I'm curious what they land on. So Bam unlikely to play. Maybe Bam dresses and he doesn't play and he's off the bench.
He could be, too, as well.
Somebody's got to dress in a uniform. Like they're not going to be like naked.
Yeah. It might be Bam.
Yeah.
It's just Caleb, like Max Strus, Caleb Martin is a lot. It's going to be probably 3 Heat players in your lineup tonight you're going to need because they're going to all just play so many minutes and it's so cheap that you're going to have to, like, they're going to have to put up points and score, like rebounds, assists, like. Yeah, I really like Strus. I really like Strus. I like who did I say before? Caleb Martin and Jovic. I like those 3 a lot. Those like 3 my main priorities. I gotta look into Jamal Cain and see how he has played.
How many more players have to get ruled out for you to consider Kyle Lowry?
He's the last man in for me. I think he's like this doesn't make sense. Like he doesn't. He's the first guy off the floor tonight.
It's probably a fun challenge, if anything. Like they'll probably welcome it. I don't know.
Old man Kyle, no, just sit down, man.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we still have. Yeah, we have 25 Vincent minutes. We have to delegate. So yeah, we have 25 Vincent minutes. We have to delegate out, and we already have Lowry for 38, Strus for 38, Martin for 38, Jovic for 30. Kane for 30, Robinson 17, Highsmith 24, and 30 more minutes to go. I'm sorry, 24 minutes. So like, yeah, everybody else, like, you can't go much higher than 38 for Strus, Martin, and Lowry, but maybe it gets to 39, maybe it gets to 40. Probably not 40 for Lowry, but I can see 38, 39. Yeah, man, it's all about the Heat tonight. Matthew in chat asking if it's mid-March. Yeah, this feels like a mid-March slate already. Lowry's $22 on Yahoo. I'm not playing on Yahoo, but that to me sounds like a really, really, really strong play. I know $10 is the floor.
It's a good price, but I still be afraid because you're gonna want a high. This might be a high scoring slate, so you're gonna want players to put up good scores tonight.
Washington's not going to blow them out, by the way. I'm just going to make that bold proclamation. I don't know if it's a bold proclamation.
That is a very bold proclamation.
I mean, it's not. Like Vegas is saying it's an 8-point line, and if it's an 8-point game with is that what we're at as far as Vegas? I think it's 8, right? If it's an 8-point game with 3 minutes left to go, like everybody's out there, we're trying our best still.
Well, of course, they have no choice. They have no bodies.
Well, I mean, Lowry's still out there. How about that? Yeah, 7 points is what I'm seeing on scores and odds.
Yeah, it is a 7-point. It went down. Oh my!
I wouldn't assume. I mean, I'm Miami, and you don't Miami.
They're a well-coached team. Yes. So
culture.
Yes, we have a really good, well-coached team. And we have talent, but talent can only get you so far when you have a bunch of young guys. So I guess we just have to see. But if they pull out a win, that'll be a nice little upset.
Yeah, and if you think Miami's like Herbert says, Miami loses by 20. Just if you're in the right state, just bet Washington and double your money. Like just bet Washington -7 or whatever it is. That's no. I mean, you don't have to play DFS. I'm not trying to discourage that, but if that's your take, like, and I respect that's being a take, and I get it. Just hammer Washington and put a bunch of money in them. Just you're not going to like win a GPP, but you'll win half your money or double your money. All right, Chicago, Orlando, we're done. We're not trying to derail the show, but that really was super, super important to talk about. And I think we're done with the pieces following Miami. I don't know what else can happen at this point. Indiana and Houston, 236.5 is the total. 6-point favorite as far as Indiana. High and tight. Like I was talking about before, Andre, I like the idea of playing Giannis and Embiid. I love the idea of playing Halliburton and Jalen Green, especially if Porter doesn't play. Porter's got a back. Let's see. We have any update on that? Last I saw, he's questionable with his back. Tate and Fernando are still out. Indiana, as healthy as they've been for a while. Duarte, of course, still out. But to me, this sets up again like another fun little. You don't have to just go 1-1, but I love the idea. Halliburton and Green and then just figure it out from there. Your thoughts as far as Indiana Houston? Of course, it's a good game environment for fantasy points.
I like that for sure. I think I talked about that too on the morning grind a lot. That Halliburton is another one of these good plays. On the slate, 8-9 is still a good price for him to play to be at. Running back with Jalen Green, or I think it's running back with Jalen Green or Sengun is a good little mini game sack that I will be all over today. I even don't mind a guy like Miles Turner today as well. I think he's a fantastic play in GPPs. Tyrese Halliburton, I would say take him for props at 20 points, 10 rebounds. Sorry, 10 plus assists, and I think I got him at 4 rebounds too as well. So I think those are the stats he probably gets tonight, if not more.
You like anybody else in Indiana?
Yeah, I mentioned Miles Turner. Miles Turner is someone that I really like a lot tonight as well.
They bumped him up a bit, but I think he can still get that. He can still pay it off, but it's not as cheap as he once was.
Definitely.
If KPJ plays, does that hinder Green enough to be off him, or I still like him?
Still like him. He's 6'5". He has his prices have moved, and he's still giving you like 40s, and he still has upside. So for more than like the 40s, he's gotten a few times. So I still love him.
All right. I was Googling minimum number of players that need to dress for an NBA game. I just want to make sure it's still 8. I'm still stuck on Miami. I know our team just updated their projections. I'm curious where they're putting those minutes around. We don't have a starting lineup just yet, but anybody that's available is going to get some run. Şengün, anything there?
Yes, I like him. I like him too as well.
All right, I apologize if you mentioned it. I was busy Googling. I turned my brain off for a second. What do you got?
Just these Miami guys just popping off the charts.
Yeah. You gotta play. It's 48 times 5, right? That's how many minutes you got to delegate out, and who's going to get them. Our updates are no updates. Jared Allen's still questionable game time decision with his illness. How could you not know at this point? Either he's sick or he's not. Tobias Harris, he's got a hip, so he's questionable. No update there either. You want to move on here as far as the Houston Indiana game?
Yeah,
it's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you were to stack this game, would you go beyond the 1-1? Halliburton and Green especially if Porter sits. Would you?
Yeah.
You would add Turner, like you said, and
I would add Turner or Sengun. So I would do like a 2. I don't mind doing like a 2-1 or 1-2, whatever it's called. I don't mind doing that.
And then on the same theme, I don't really force these. Like I typically don't. I know a lot of people do, but I just think it sets up so well tonight. OKC versus Memphis, 2:30, another really appealing game. Memphis 7-point favorite. What SGA, I wrote it to, like he's single-handedly killing any sort of plans they had of tanking. And he's just too good. He's just amazing. He's been awesome this year. He took another leap as far as fantasy points per minute. It's like 1.4 or so, like 1.4, which is fabulous. If you take Desmond Bane off the court, John Morant sees a significant boost. His usage goes to 40%, which is insanity numbers. That's like Luka numbers. He's like, I know there's a Lou Dort, the Dortcher chamber. Like they're going to throw on him and whatever. Like, I suppose that's not ideal. But like Ja's going to still get his, I think. How do you feel about the studs in this game? I think it's the two clear studs, SGA and John. We can talk about Fanduel specific. Dylan Brooks is like $5K over there for some reason. That is a goofy price. That's a really good price. He was super chalky in the morning until the Miami stuff. I'm not sure where he's landing right now. Your thoughts as far as Memphis and OKC?
I love Shea today. Like over 30. I think what is it? What's the stat that I looked up with him? I think he's got like 30 points in almost every single game except for like 1 or 2 games this whole year. He's just been killing everybody. Like
been awesome.
He's definitely winning most valuable. Not most valuable player. He's definitely winning most improved. I don't know about MVP.
They just define it so weirdly. Like I don't know. Like the way they define that is odd. So it's like it's a strange interpretation. But he might he certainly he would But that's the thing. It's like we knew he was awesome last year, but like a lot of people didn't know because he was OKC, and like they didn't really, national writers aren't paying attention to OKC.
Yeah, like he's just too good. Like the Clippers are probably regretting their situation right now because they could.
Yeah.
So I think Shea is one of these guys I really want to spend up on today. I'm trying to get some Shea in, and I'm running it back definitely with Ja Morant. Ja Morant that's what it is. Ja Morant has averaged no less, I think, than I want to say 30 points since when Desmond Bain has been out. He's just rebounding the ball really well as well. So I'm going to take some props on that. I would say 6 rebounds for Ja Morant or 5, along with minimum 30 points. So if you want to go with like 27 to be safe, that's fine too. And I also do like Steven Adams. I don't mind taking some shots on him as well in a big field tournament because it's OKC and their bigs up front are not going to be able to handle him. I do not really care for Dylan Brooks just for the simple fact that it's Dylan Brooks and he is a liability. And plus, I really just play the Miami guys. And Jaren Jackson, I think it's an excellent tournament play, even at 25 minutes and his price being 6.3 on FanDuel. He can still give you an upside ceiling game in this spot. So that's pretty much it. OKC only playing one guy, and that's Shy, and Memphis is only 3: Josh, Adams, and Jaren Jackson.
So I pulled it up. Morant, when Bain's not on the court, 40.2% usage, insanity. 1.54 FanDuel points per minute, 1.63 DK points per minute. This season, SGA 1.49 FanDuel, 1.47 DK per minute on the season. That's spectacular, and that's jumping from like 1.2-ish last year. He's taken another advance. You mentioned Adams' revenge game. Like if it's Poku, Poku's a disaster defensively. If they throw him at the 5, we'll see how that goes. Not well for Poku, but also like again, this slate might be too big for it. But Brandon Clark, we see, if it's somehow Brandon Clark's season, like if he's the one that gets more run than Adams, it depends upon foul trouble and just the way the game flow's going. I just don't know if that's necessary on this slate, but like we've seen him get loose. I don't feel great about it. But if you're running a bunch of lineups in a big field tournament, I think you should at least like be in your pool. You have a thought on Clark at all?
I don't mind it being in your pool, but I'm taking a stand and not playing him today.
Fair enough. No, I get it. Any news here? No news as far as what we're monitoring. All right, Boston and New Orleans, another game, 230 total. This is a weird game where like I'm afraid this game gets loose, and I am not going to have a lot of it. Marcus Smart is out for Boston. Brogdon is back though. We're projecting White to draw a start and Brogdon to get back in his 6-man role. Zion is questionable with his foot. If the problem with Zion and the problem with New Orleans is like they have too many good players and nobody really plays a ton of minutes. Especially if Zion plays, like I just don't like anybody in New Orleans. They have to cut that pie up in so many different pieces. They run 10 strong. You mentioned this before as far as if Zion's out, I guess you're interested in maybe some Ingram, some BI.
Yep, definitely would be interested in those two guys if he is out, which is why that's why the news is important for me. I really would like to know that because I really want to get to a lot of those two guys a lot more in my lineups for sure. And then also if Zion is in and playing, I definitely want to play him and take advantage of him destroying that front court. So it could work either way. So it's just I need to know that news like ASAP. No Rocky.
Nobody's playing him. Like that's he's just not going to get. I'm trying to find his ownership now. I'm trying to run to that game. The highest projected owned player in this game right now is Jason Tatum at 5%. You got to pay a big price for him, but like of course there's plenty of value to get there, and of course Tatum can do it. But he's not my favorite big spend. But I'm not here to say you can't play Jason Tatum. That usually doesn't work out. Al Horford is second at 5.7. Like I can't imagine getting Al Horford on DK. It's 5.5 on FanDuel. I guess that's usable. Brown is 5% also. Brogdon 3%. Where I have to scroll down, and this stuff is going to change. Zion's 8-8 at less than 1% ownership if he plays. They just rarely give him like 34 minutes. We're projecting 32. I mean, certainly you're going to win the ownership game if you play some Zion, and obviously if he plays tonight. And Ingram not getting any ownership either. Then that might change if Zion gets if he gets ruled out. I got nothing else as far as this game. It's worth noting. You got anything else, or shall we move on?
We can move on.
Oh, this is not the game I wanted to talk about. Denver and Dallas. All right, so Denver and Dallas, 216 is a total. That's pretty paltry, obviously. The big deal in this game is that no Jamal Murray, no Nikola Jokic, and then potentially no Aaron Gordon, who's not feeling well. He missed shoot around as well. We're projecting Bones Highland to have a big day today. We're projecting him to start. We'll see if that happens. We're projecting Bones with KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Jeff Green, and DeAndre Jordan. I think Najee and Brown are interesting off the bench. We're actually not projecting Aaron Gordon to play. Is that correct? Did we make a stand on this? That's interesting. I want to see if our projections hold the same way our lineup projection is. Luka's back for this game. He had his rest, right? Bullock's got a neck, so he's questionable. McGee also has a neck, but he's probable. Doesn't really matter, but just, I guess, worth noting. The Denver side, though, here, Andre, we saw Bones come back from, I think he had COVID protocol, and he was really, really good. Like, that guy, man, you catch him on the right night, like, man, this guy's awesome. And you catch him on the wrong nights, I don't know why people like Bones so much. He seems really volatile, but he's really young and still figuring stuff out. How do you feel about Bones at 5K? We're projecting 32 minutes for him, and we made a guess. This obviously will change, but our projection team obviously sees something that they're guessing Gordon doesn't play tonight. Is Bones your favorite play in this game?
He has to be in the way just because he's going to play in the blowout, whether they're up or down or not. So he would be my favorite play. Then I'm going to probably go with Michael Porter Jr. and then Bruce Brown. Probably move Bruce Brown ahead of Michael Porter Jr. because I know Michael Porter Jr. with that back will probably be one of the first people out the game if it's a blowout. But yeah, that'll be my order for this. And just ride out with Bones. I don't mind playing him today. I think he's definitely a way to get you different too on the slate.
Oh no, Bones is gonna be heavily owned.
No. I'm talking about like to get different because you can run it back. Sorry, to get different from the Miami Heat guys. Sorry.
Yeah, then that's the thing. You said run it back as far as Luka is just he's not going to get played, man.
And he's just gonna and he has to kill for them to win. So. Like Luka is another good play, and that's what could get you different. Because what if Bones is pushing this team to help them, like win the game, and somehow, some way, they're still in the game because Dallas finds a way to always let people still in the game. Then Luka has to just go crazy. So that's something I would consider doing. But if I'm playing Luka, if Luka's in your lineup. Definitely make sure you're running back with like someone from Denver, and more likely be like at least
maybe two someones. If I'm playing Luka, I might play two Denver guys.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it'd be like Bones. It'd probably be Bones and Bruce. Bruce. I think Bones and Bruce would be my guys.
I think Najee's kind of interesting, but he's like more blowout proof. I don't know how much run they're going to give him, but he's three. Yeah, he's interesting. Zeke Najee. Maybe it's a little bit ambitious. I don't know. And this is all under the assumption that if Gordon plays, like theoretically, if he's fine and there's no restrictions, he's a good play. But like that's yet to be determined. Bones, their best fantasy appointment player that's playing tonight, better on DK than he is on Fanduel. 1.2 per minute on DK, 1.12 on Fanduel. Porter this year, 1.02 on DK, 0.97 on Fanduel. DeAndre Jordan. And it's like, what's the ceiling on him? Like, does he close? Probably not. Like he's probably gonna get like 25 fantasy points. Is that good enough?
No,
I don't think so. Like, not it's not gonna crush you if he puts up 25. But he's 4K on Fanduel and 3.6 on DK. You think Brown starts or no, or does it matter?
I don't think either. No, I think it doesn't matter honestly whether he starts or not. But I think he does start.
Yeah. We're projecting him to come off the bench for what it's worth, but like there's no certainty that. Well, wait, you think him and Bone start?
Because all right, so it's.
I think it's one or the other. I think.
I mean, because Kevin Porter Jr. Not Kevin Porter, Michael Porter Jr. starting, and then we definitely have DeAndre Jordan starting. You don't play DeAndre Jordan. Aaron Gordon, is he in or he's out?
So our projection team seems to think that he's going to be out. He's officially questionable, sick, missed shoot around, missed last game.
He's not playing.
Well, yeah, we don't know, but it seems that they think that, and they've dug into it more than I have, that he's questionable, that he's likely out. So
I think that's going to be big. That contains honestly kind of everything.
By the way, not to halt the show, but this is I'm satisfied to finally get this. The Heat are going to list Gabe Vincent as available to satisfy the league mandated 8 players needed. Vincent won't play, as previously reported, so he's going to dress and put the uniform on, but he's not going to play. Okay, so that's what I wanted to know, and I really wish that wasn't out there because I think we had an edge there, because he was going to be listed as available, right?
Yeah.
Because I was it's out there now. Everybody's on it. But anyways, there goes our edge on the Heat. Yeah, so I interrupted you. I apologize. Go ahead. Continue with your thought.
You're fine. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. We're good.
Yeah, we were talking about Gordon potentially being out and the likelihood that it seems like he's out, but not official. Stay tuned.
Yeah. But
and then you're talking about DeAndre Jordan. Just you don't want to play DeAndre Jordan.
Don't play DeAndre. Word of advice to everyone: don't play DeAndre Jordan. If you do, that's free money for me. But don't play DeAndre Jordan.
He's the best friend anybody can have. That's the only reason why he keeps sticking around theoretically, right? You must be the best dude.
The only reason. If you want to win today, don't play DeAndre Jordan.
He was at either a Fanduel Live final or a DraftKings Live final, and I don't know if you remember, he signed Grant's head. I don't know if you remember this. Grant had to sign his head for some reason. I don't really know why.
That's what's up. That's when DeAndre Jordan was actually in his prime.
And it was Lob City, right?
Yep.
Steven Smith is asking, don't play DJ on FanDuel or DK. You're saying both.
I'm saying both. Don't just cross them out from your pool. Go to center, hit the X button, and don't look back.
I mean, what's the scenario where DeAndre Jordan puts up 35 or puts up 40? That's just not happening.
If he that means a blitz is coming here if he does that.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm playing him. All right. Cam is asking about how many Heat are too many Heat in cash. That is a good question. Crunch time, we'll certainly talk about that. I will run optimals in a second. I know we've updated our stuff as far as Miami. But I'm going to guess, is that DK? I'm going to guess it's 4 or 5 for real. I'm going to guess it's 4 or 5 Heat guys and a couple studs. We'll do that in a second. We're done with Denver and Dallas. Dallas, it's Luka and Luka only, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Phoenix, Utah, 228.5 is the total. Phoenix looks like a 1-point dog here as far as who's in and who's out. Chris Paul officially ruled out. Landry Shamet still out there. Utah fully healthy except Rudy Gay. He's got the hand, doesn't matter. This is one of those games, right? And the price is fully adjusted. I think it's fully adjusted on campaign. I guess there's a little bit of meat. 6-8 campaign is fine. Booker can absolutely go out there and do his thing and light this team up. I think Ayton's got a really good price on DK at 6'2". At center. That seems pretty good. Facing the likes of Kelly Olynyk and I don't know, Vanderbilt's a tough guy to cross up with it. Markkanen's not, if he catches him in the middle, no big deal. I know Booker's one of your guys. Do you like Booker tonight?
Oh yeah, lock.
There it is.
I feel like he's still 9K, I believe, if I'm correct. He has not moved. His price has not moved, and I don't know why. So he's still playing 9K. That's 45 fantasy points. That's it. He does on the sleep. He's on the
I need 55 though. Can I get 55 at that price?
Yeah, I think the floor is probably 45. I think
sees a bump in across the board and his usage and more handling of the ball.
Yep. So I think the floor should be 45, unless he just is having a bad night. And then the ceiling is limitless. So I think that Devin Booker is one of my favorite plays on the slate. Utah does not play defense that well. I think they also do have a little run up tempo as well too. So one of the more faster paced teams in the league. So Devin Booker, yes, love it. Just play him.
How do you feel about DeAndre Ayton, specifically on DK at 6'2"? He's getting.
I love his price. I love his price. I just want him to perform and play well. So he's worth definitely taking some shots. Even at 6'7" on Fanduel, I think he's still worth taking some shots. It's just going to be. It's just a matter of is he going to do it or not, you know. But Booker is probably just the main priority for me. There's too many good guys on the slate. Like
Slate's loaded.
It's like.
But you can get anybody you want. It's not hard to get anybody you want.
Yeah, I just wish I could play like all those guys in one lineup.
You can't do that.
Yeah, they have DraftKings has that whatchamacallit. What do they have? The Rainmaker. They should have the Rainmaker for NBA too.
And boy, another racket. There's more way to make money. I have not participated in the Rainmakers for I know people have done well. I know Kirkwood got it. He was in the hospital ripping packs like 3:00 in the morning, and he turned that into like winning a tournament there. Did you partake in the Rainmakers? I have not.
No, I have not. No. It's not. It's just not for football at least. But if they have it for basketball, I might try to dabble in.
Well, I feel like the Rainmakers is like you almost can't dabble. Way I understand it. I'm kind of ignorant to it. It's like you either got to be all in or all out. Like if you're dabbling, you're well behind. That's the way I understand. That's the way I understand it at least. Like you got to have a lot of options and a lot of cards or moments, whatever. If you're playing, have at it, enjoy yourself. I know I got an email about like there's $1 million one for Thanksgiving. But I mean, they're like, yeah, buy some packs. And I'm like, I'm starting with 0 and people already have a whole bunch and I'm not going to play catch up. Are we playing anybody in Utah?
I like Clarkson. I don't mind Vanderbilt. And I think Kelly Olynyk is interesting for GPPs. That's really it.
Olynyk has those games, man. When he stays out of foul trouble, he can put up 40 fantasy points at 5K. Like he can do that. Vanderbilt, this is the way I see Utah. Like, and this is like not. I didn't go through every single game, but I feel like if they're winning, Vanderbilt closes. If they're losing, Beasley closes. That's just sort of like what I've noticed, but that's not perfect math. Or like a Sexton, like a scorer would close, as opposed like Vanderbilt's only going to close if they're winning.
That makes sense, though. It's not a bad assumption.
Yeah, he's a defensive guy, and that makes sense, and that's what I've noticed. Just something going forward, I guess. Put that in your back pocket if that's useful or not. Anything else here? Or moving on.
We're moving on.
We are making spectacular time, if I may say so. We got about 10 minutes or so till the crunch time crew comes in. I believe it's Will. Of course, it's Kevin Roth. You got TJ presumably coming in. I don't know. We have 50 likes yet or not. Outrageous that we're not at 50 likes. We're dynamite time. We're breaking everything down. Hit that like button, caress it, smash it, whatever your ad of choice happens to be. Turn that thumb up. We do appreciate it. And if you really want to be ambitious, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel so you know when we go live. Not just basketball, obviously, all the sports we talk about. And get those notifications. That'll let you know when we go live as well. Would we play Najee? Would we play Najee in the center?
I'm not playing Najee at all.
I think he's in play. I think he's interesting. I feel really confident he's blowout proof. That game gets goofy. I think he's playable. I would play him before I play Jordan. How about that? Or that doesn't say anything to you. That means nothing to you.
Yeah, that means nothing to me. Because good luck with that one.
K-Town's finest, DK single entry, Mobley or Ayton or both. My answer would be Ayton. If Allen doesn't play, then maybe Mobley. That might be enough to push him over, but right now it's Ayton. What about you?
Mobley, because he's playing against Charlotte.
Yeah. All right. So, whoever you trust, K-Town. We didn't help you unless you think I'm a big schmuck and Andre knows what he's talking about. So there you go. Let's go with what Andre said. Let's talk about New York. New York and Golden State, 234.5 is the total. Golden State, this is national TV, by the way, ESPN game. They're at home, so they got a chance to win. I think they're still win this on the road. Golden State playing at the fastest pace in basketball this season. I couldn't believe that they are 27th in defensive rating. That's just wild to me. I know it's still kind of early, but their defense has been rough. And then New York on the other side, they yield the second most 3-pointers in the association. And I'm pretty sure, Andre, you tell me, you confirm. The Warriors, they have a couple of guys that can hit some threes, right?
Oh yeah, they have a couple guys called the Splash Brothers, and a third person that they just welcome to the pool party.
Yeah, that works out perfectly.
I think it kind of like goes in sync with this. So I love Steph Curry today too. See, take the props for over 25 and a half points, or 25 points and plus more. Take it for 3+ threes, maybe even 4+ threes. Do a ladder actually, because I think that's a way to do it.
I wrote that up today. You're talking about the Clay or Steph? Which one are you talking about?
Steph.
I wrote them both up today as overs. I feel like it's almost, I don't want to say not going to happen, but it seems very unlikely they both miss. Mm-hmm. I think you got a chance to get to go 2-0, and I mentioned the ladder as well. But yeah, I wrote that up on Scores and Odds. There you go. But I'm glad to hear you're on it as well. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so I love that. I love that play. I also do like Andrew Wiggins in the spot. I know he's a little bit expensive, but he's a different GPP play from everyone else. And I think that he can definitely have that upside game in this spot on the wing, since he's going to be needed to guard guys like RJ Barrett. So I love him as well. And on the New York side, well, I do like Draymond and Clay. But I'm going to be focusing more probably on Steph as a primary guy I want to get in, as well as Andrew Wiggins. I do, for the New York side, I love Randall today in this spot. He's been playing really, really, really well without Mitchell Robinson. He has scored no less than 20 points in the game. So take that too if you want to do plus 20 points with Julius Randle, as well as 8 rebounds. I think that's a good props to get out there too as well. I also do kind of like Brunson too as well. I just don't know how much Brunson I'm going to get to. I'm prioritizing on Julius Randle, and I don't mind RJ Barrett or Quickly. Quickly, I think it's an excellent GPP play as well. That could be sneaky because he's a streaky shooter, and if he gets hot, he can have a monster game in it, and he's just been playing more minutes late. And then I really, really, really like another sneaky GPP play here. And that is Jericho Sims. I think Jericho Sims is in a spot today where he can have a monster game. I mentioned it on the morning grind this morning, and I still love the spot for him. He's too cheap, and he's not going to be owned. And I think that's a play that could. I think that's like a squirrel patrol play where you could just take down everything by just playing that guy.
You know, there's no chance I'm playing Jericho Sims, right? And I'm not saying that's right. There's no way I'm playing Jericho Sims in this slate. I can't do it. I don't want to mess with that 3-man rotation, whatever Hartenstein and Sims and Toppin. But I hear you. I can't do that. You're right. Squirrel's the kind of guy that can do it. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
They picked Fournier out of the rotation. They picked somebody else out of the rotation too. I can't remember who. Reddish has been closing. He closed last game over Barrett. Barrett's been scuffling a lot. Reddish was somebody that was like hitting optimals earlier in the day, which was a little bit surprising, but like he's been playing a ton of minutes. 32 was his projection. I don't think he's necessary without whatever the other stuff that's out there. It's kind of my take on him. I like Brunson. I think he's my favorite run back in this game. I don't know if I have to run it back, but I think Steph is an awesome, awesome play today. I ran some optimals on DK. It is 4 or 5 Miami studs. This is DK. 4 or 5 Miami studs. Bones Highlands. No, I shouldn't say 4 or 5 Miami players. They're all not studs. 4 or 5 players that will be playing for the Miami Heat tonight. Bones Highland, and then 2 studs. And looks like Steph is one of Steph, SGA, Embiid, like 2 of those guys. And that's your optimals today. Like that's super, super clear. And if it's 4 Miami guys, you're getting like a stud and then like 2 mid to upper tier guys with that. So that's interesting. All right. Anything else here of note before we talk about the last game on the slate, Detroit and the Lakers?
No.
Red in chat's asking about love for Cam Reddish. He's gonna play probably 30 minutes, like at least he has been. I don't love it because I like other stuff more. Did you have a thought on Cam? I just kind of mentioned it, but didn't sound like you didn't mention him. So
Yeah, I don't mind. Kevin Porter Jr. is out tonight.
oh man, Jalen Green, light it up. Jalen Green's like that's come on, get whatever he's projected to be and get over the field on Jalen Green.
This slate is a headache now. I want to play I really wish I was max entering.
Projections might like Eric Gordon, but come on, what are we doing here? He's probably going to get a boost as well. I don't know, man. I suppose it's possible he just buries a bunch of threes tonight. He'll have the opportunity to do so. But the guy I think you want on Houston is Jalen Green. That's the guy that's going to pop for me. Interesting. All right. Talking about Detroit and the Lakers, LeBron upgraded the questionable. Historically, when he's questionable, he plays basically every single time. I don't know why they would upgrade a questionable and put the false hope out there if he wasn't going to play, but we'll see. Also, Demolition Man, Dennis Schroeder should be available tonight for what it's worth. And Thomas Bryant, both those guys expected to come back tonight. Don't know how much run, if at all, they're going to play. Maybe Monk just doesn't get any minutes. It's kind of a mess outside of Davis and LeBron. The Pistons, one of the worst defensive teams in basketball, and they're playing in the back half of back-to-back. And they were in LA last night, so they probably had themselves a good time. Beef Stewart is still out for Detroit, and Corey Joseph, is he in or out or still questionable? Do we care? Does it matter? Detroit and the Lakers, what do you got?
Nobody. I literally only have one person from this game. Is Bojan Bogdanovic, and I don't even think I'm going to play him. Nobody.
Brandon wants to know what Jalen moved to a cash play with all the cheap. I think he's a very good cash play. I don't know if he fits the quote-unquote cash game build. I have not done that yet. Our projections have not changed on him, but I really think he's a good cash game play. He might hit optimals. I can't say, but there's a lot of good plays today. But if he ends up in your cash lineup, I would not besmirch that. Let's see. You're talking about Ivy for Detroit. I just don't like. I feel like we should like the game more. And Davis obviously is better if LeBron doesn't play. If LeBron plays, then he hits Davis a little bit. He hits Russ a good bit. You just said nobody, and that's fine. Stan, nobody playing Morant. I'm gonna have some Morant.
I'm having Morant.
Favorite big spend up and favorite cheapie. Can you give me that? Favorite big spend?
I like too many. So
I like a lot.
I have to say a favorite. I don't know. I really don't.
Your favorite cheapie is Jovic, isn't it?
Jovic is my favorite cheapie.
Okay, there you go.
Spend up. I mean, I'm gonna take ownership into consideration for this. So if I'm gonna take ownership into this, I'm gonna probably say, "Oh, Giannis is still gonna be popular." Wow. Okay, I didn't know he's gonna be that popular.
On FanDuel, he is.
Yeah. So then give me like Ja Morant or Shai.
I think Steph is my favorite big spend tonight. I think he puts on, it's national TV game. He's playing the most minutes he's played since 2013, in part because it's like that bench is horrendous for Golden State. Their bench is an absolute disaster. It's also, when it's on national TV, you get those built-in longer rests, more commercials. You might eke out an extra minute or two. And New York gives up a ton of threes, the second most in the league as far as made threes. I think Steph's my favorite, but again, if your favorite is SGA, sure, cool. If your favorite is Morant, okay, I get it. If you want to run Luka against Denver, whatever, okay. And Giannis versus Embiid, again, that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Got some lineups to make. The Crunch Time crew should be knocking on the door momentarily. I presume you all have hit the like button since you're here. TJ in chat, he'll be jumping in just a second. He is 80% Jovic too much. What do you think? Is that too much, Andre?
80% Jovic.
Yeah,
I might cut it back a little bit, but I don't mind it if you're willing to take that risk. I think he's gonna play a lot of minutes and be able to get there. So,
K-Town's finest single entry, Triple J or Steven Adams. I like when he puts in parentheses revenge. If you're gonna pick one of those two, Triple J or Steven Adams, which Grizz do you prefer?
Steven Adams.
Anybody a lock on DK single entry or 3 max? Like there's so many good plays. Like I don't know if there's quote unquote. It's weird. Like I could name 10 different locks if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I don't. You kind of said it already. You like too many guys. It's hard to kind of whittle it down. Noel's asking a chat about Bull. I think Bull is a much better play on FanDuel where the price is more friendly. The tricky part is he's center only, but it's a good price. Do we have Roth creeping in? I see Will and I see TJ. What's up, Will? You with me? Are you guys live? TJ?
We're here.
Brother?
Yeah. What's good?
Doing all right?
All right. I gotta make some lineups, man. I wanna like be pleasant and say it's nice to see y'all. I hope Roth comes in here shortly. But I want to get off the show and start building. I'm excited. I'm really excited about this slate. Here comes Roth right now. Andre, you got anything else for the boys before we step aside and make way for the crunch time crew? They have a ton of stuff to break down as well. TJ, did we get those official? We got 50, so you're here. Did you stand by that call?
We got over 50, so I'm here, but I'd love for us to get to 100 likes on this show since we got almost 300 people watching. Free content.
God.
Let's hop to it. How you doing, Roth?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing pretty well.
I'm in a state of panic. There's too many good things. Roth, if you don't make a good lineup tonight, it's your fault. Like it's too many good things.
Here, I still can't make a good lineup. I got logged out of my DK app, and I don't have time to figure out my password. So now I'm just literally never gonna play.
You can't just reset your password, Roth.
That takes like 7 minutes, and I don't have 7 minutes in my life when you've got 2 kids. So nope, I'm never playing again.
Over under number of times you were thrown up on today. I'm setting the line at 1.5. What do you think, Andres? How many times was Roth thrown up on today? 1.5. Over or under?
Over. I'm gonna say 3.
Pleased to say we're done with the throwing up. Now I'm just getting snotted on, but no puking.
Yeah, I was gonna go under for sure.
Yeah.
Clearly, he has no kids. Obviously.
Honor, you got anything else for the boys? Or we're going to step aside and make way for crunch time.
No, just good luck to everybody. Look forward to seeing y'all coming second and have a blast.
All righty. Roth, feel free to take over. The FanDuel sponsor Crunch Time. Appreciate y'all watching the first portion here of Grinders Live. Myself and Andre, we appreciate y'all watching. We appreciate all the likes, all the good stuff, subscribing, everything. Got to make some lineups. Wild slate. Enjoy it. FanDuel sponsor Crunch Time with TJ and Will and Roth. It starts right now.
It does indeed. Welcome to it. It is Crunch Time. It is sponsored by FanDuel, and it is without a doubt the best show in the biz, especially the best free show in the biz. Can't get better than this. Joined by 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz. We got my man TJ. TJ, how you rolling, man?
Doing pretty well. Running 150 tournament lineups today, but covering cash games for the viewers today. Got some nice little graphics going. I'm doing pretty well. Ready to make some money.
I love it. Shout out to, I think that's producer Steve, just come in with the random gifts and everything else. Oh, we got Chief as well. Chief, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. That made my day, Steve, I must say. Amongst other things, but that was pretty funny. We got to get more of that going. I like that type of content. I'm here for it.
Man, so, Steve, last night, it was a middle
Broncos
of the
country.
Night.
Let's ride.
Yeah. Like last night, we had the dumbest show ever. It was in the middle of the night. It was just 2 people on the show. And Steve was just so on fire, throwing in random gifts and random things. It honestly made the whole show. So shout out, as I always do at the end of the show, shout out to our production crew. Best in the biz, without a doubt. But we are not here to talk about the behind the scenes. We are here to talk about the money-making hoopers. And TJ, you're kind of in charge there as far as the cash build. Is that cool?
Yep, let's do it. I'm ready for it.
All right, you want to give a general breakdown of the slate? Maybe catch me up?
Yes. So we'll try and get through it quick so we can save times for QQs because it's chaos. We got 11 games, tons and tons and tons of injury news. We got most of the stuff we're waiting for now. All that we're really left waiting for is somebody like a Aaron Gordon on this one. Everything else has come in. We just got Jared Allen will play. We got Kevin Porter Jr. before lock. Most of the other stuff we've gotten throughout the day today. So The biggest talking point on the slate is Miami. I think in optimals right now, you're on DraftKings, you're getting 5. On FanDuel, you're getting 4. I think in cash games, there's no limit to how many you can play. I'm feeling more comfortable in the 4 on DraftKings, 3 on FanDuel range. But they're just in such an unbelievably good spot today. It's hard to get away from them. So they're the main beneficiary of all the news today. And then there's some teams like Houston, Denver, Phoenix that we're going to be potentially looking to for cash games, and Memphis that we're going to potentially be looking to for cash games as well.
Okay, very good. Already getting questions about kind of ranking those Heat players, and I'm sure we'll do that as we kind of go through this build here. By the way, you're getting beat up about the fade, TJ, in the YouTube chat. I think you look sharp, man. Don't listen to all the hate in there.
This is the first time I've ever actually seen any hate. Most of it's been complimenting the haircut, so the ego is getting a little bit too high. It's all right to get it brought down a peg every now and then.
To be fair, like the last time I saw it, it was all like nicely done, and now it looks like
I'm panicking with all these lineups, man. Yeah. I'm panicking trying to get everything in. I'm here to make myself some money, make the people some money. I'm not worried about how I look today.
We don't have time for any of that. All right, hey, let's dive into this cash build starting on FanDuel. As you get into that, I'm going to have to shut this door unless you guys want a taste of my life, which is just screaming children. Wonderful screaming children, but screaming children nevertheless. So TJ, walk us through that build and I'll be right back.
All right, will do. So like I said, today is chaos. A lot of Miami Heat. So at the guard position today, I think like at point guard, I think this is potentially the one spot we don't need to roll with somebody there. So I'm hoping maybe I can get Steve up on the screen share to pull this up here. But I think the plays you're looking to at point guard, my favorite is Bones Highland today. He's a core cash game lock for me. And then I'm also looking at somebody like a Jalen Green. Now, he's somebody you can potentially play at the shooting guard position, because I think you can also look to potentially spend up here for somebody like a Steph Curry, Tyrese Halliburton, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, John Morant. I think all of those are reasonable plays here. But the most important, I think, to plug in are going to be Jalen Green and Bones Highland. Then getting to the shooting guard position, that's to me where we are getting the necessary Miami Heat players. Caleb Martin and Max Strus. Both are players you need in your lineup. Now, for me at the shooting guard position, I think I want to play somebody like Devin Booker here. Get Devin Booker into my lineup. He's probably my favorite mid-range spend up here, and that's going to be a trend you're going to see from me. I don't think the Lukas and the Giannis's are absolutely necessary today in cash games. I do like the mid-range build. Heat will start Lowry, Strus, Martin, Highsmith, and Jovic. So I actually got some things I'm going to change. I'm going to get a little more Highsmith and a little less Kane, I think. But for cash games, the Heat player I think you're looking to need in your lineup are Strus, Martin, and Jovic. Those are the 3 that are absolute musts. So those are the 3 that are absolute locks that you need in cash games. So if I plug in, if we pull up the lineup preview here, and I put in Highland, Green, Booker, Strus, Martin, and Jovic, then that leaves me $8K per player with 3 positions left. And that's a lot of money that I get to spend and kind of do whatever I want with it. So my priorities for cash in terms of spend ups for me personally, I would rather look at the Tyrese Halliburton's, Alperen's, Şengün's. That's kind of how I want to go about things. Optimally, I think the best way you can do it is probably to plug in a guy like Dylan Brooks, plug in a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then you're left with $7,500 as your very last position to use at either power forward or center today. I think that's kind of your ideal way about going about cash games.
Okay. Do you want to discuss some of those, like, center or power forward, positions?
Yeah, so I went through a few of them already. I don't want to just I'm kind of given like
the entire
6
build
to 7 core plays, so I kind of want to leave a little bit up to the imagination. But guys like Giannis and Jovic are maybe 2 of your priorities that you want to go with there. but then you also got guys like Şengün. Maybe you want to you got all the money in the world. Maybe you want to take a stab at Anthony Davis and hope LeBron's out. And then if you're just left in the 7K range, 7 to 8K range, if you need the low side, I think somebody like Wendell Carter Jr. Is fine, but I would rather just go lower to Şengün or get up to Miles Turner.
Okay, very good. Let's talk tournaments here. And Chief, we bring you into this discussion now. TJ's listing off these guys on Miami. He wants 3, 4, 5 of these dudes. How are you handling that in tournaments? Are you on that chalk? Are you on some of it? What are you doing?
So this is one of those spots where, especially on FanDuel, if you're playing in this spot, I'm probably going to have 4 Miami Heat players in every build.
Wow.
But that's just me. And to me, that's how I'm kind of going to punish the field. So, who would I probably have on lock button? Like Strus and Martin would probably be close to lock button, and probably Jovic. Like I'd probably have those 3 on lock button, and then from there on out, I'd be running one of either Lowry, Kane, or Highsmith. Even sprinkle of Robinson, just because of what it's going to allow you to do. Now I know, we can debate about that, but once again, this is tournaments, and typically I'm fairly aggressive, and so I'm always going to have the lock button on these types of plays. And so if I'm doing that, then what I'm most to do, and I'm going to come back to Bones Highland as well. I'm probably just going to lock Bones Highland at point guard, and then I'll lock one of the Miami guys at shooting guard. So like if you're in lineup HQ, you can actually change it to where they're only locked at one or the other. So, and because you've got Strus and Martin, they're both, small forward, shooting guard eligible. I'll just lock one at shooting guard, one at small forward, like specifically, because they're going to interchange anyway. But just mentally, I'm just going to lock them. I'll lock Jovic at power forward, and so now I've got 4 guys locked in. And I know I'm talking maybe more strategy than players, but I think it's more vital for the strategy than the players today. Yeah. And then from there on out, typically I try to have maybe 4 or 5 guys at each position when I know I'm locking someone in. So like if I'm locking in Bones Highland at point guard, I'm probably most likely not going to have more than 5 other guys at the position with Bones Highland. Now that could be a flip-flop of point guard, shooting guard, or whatever, and if it comes down to the multi-position flexibility, then maybe I have 6 or 7. But generally speaking, I'm going to try not to have 4 or 5 guys on the other side of my lock, because if my locks are right, I just need a couple of these other guys to hit, and now I'm lapping the field tremendously because I'm in there. So that's kind of my strategy for the night. I do really like Joel Embiid tonight for what it's worth. He's kind of been on a tear here recently, playing Milwaukee there at home. Kind of a primetime game. It's not like it's not just for the primetime game, but all eyes are going to be on this game tonight early. So I like him as well. I think the KPJ news is going to vault Jalen Green up into the discussion. Now, he's not a lock for me, but see, he's a shooting guard, point guard. So he's one of those guys I would have in that flip-flop spot. You've got CJ McCollum, who's probably going to go by the wayside tonight. Do we have concrete news on Zion yet? I don't think we do. So that's one of those ones where if Zion's out, I'm probably going to get some exposure to CJ and probably Brandon Ingram and maybe even JV, because if the game's going to be competitive, it's going through those 3 guys primarily. So wanted to put that out there. Definitely like Shy or SGA and Ja. Like I think those are 2 big spins that you could make if you wanted to. Michael Porter Jr. I think is okay tonight. I'm not thrilled about the matchup with Dallas, but I think they're okay. I'm for sure with TJ on Devin Booker. Since Chris Paul has been out, what I like is the scoring and the peripherals. So we've been getting that accomplished as well. And then when we head on down to this Lakers game, don't look now, but Jaden Ivey's been playing fairly well with Cade out. He's $7K. He's going to be a little bit expensive. He's a guy that I think is going to get lost in the shuffle tonight for tournaments.
Who was that, Chief? I couldn't make out the name.
Oh, Jaden Ivey.
Ivy. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jaden Ivey. He's $7K. He's definitely a tournament target. And then Klay Thompson as well. We've got fairly good ownership on him, but at 5,500 with the minutes really going up back into the 30s, most games, I think you just have to play Klay every night because when the 50-point game comes, you just don't want to be on the outside looking at him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically your strategy is take all the chalk, eat it up, and then kind of just find the right combination outside of that in the other spots, and that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I like it.
But I'm limiting my pool, though. I'm not trying to play everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just picking, finding the guys that I like, plugging them in, and letting it ride.
How many lineups are you playing today, Chief, and what is your pool? Ballpark.
Probably about third. Hold on, let me see. Because I'm going to make some adjustments when we switch back over. I'm not going to be past 38 players for what it's worth. I won't be past 38 players.
So yeah, I feel like I had a pretty tight pool for an 11-game slate, and I'm at 67.
But remember, I'm only playing 4 or 5 on the other side of each lock. So if you think about it that way, that's about 20 players plus the other 4. That's 24. Plus at center, I'm probably a little bit more expanded. You get what I'm saying? So all in all,
100%. Whereas I'm doing a less extreme version of what you're doing today in tournaments. Little higher floor, little lower ceiling, or I guess if the locks hit maybe not a little lower floor, which speaks to your strategy. My highest owned player is Nikola Jovic at 74%. I got 63% Caleb Martin, 56% Strus, 54% Bones. And those are all my players over 50%. So I'm looking at that like I probably still get over the field on all of those good chalky plays. And then I'm finding my other ways to differentiate in the other pieces I'm mixing and matching in. Roth, should we switch it up over to DraftKings?
Yeah, well, I'm curious here. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong guys based on both of your builds, but is it viable to fade one of these guys, one of these chalky guys, and just hope one of these 4 guys puts up a dud?
Yes,
but it's not viable to fade Miami.
Okay. That's
fair. Yeah, and once again, I didn't lock everybody. I actually only locked 3 Miami guys. The other guy I locked was in Denver, which is Bones. I don't think you're going to get away with fading Miami at all. Like at least 4 of these guys are going to be like tournament optimal, I think. And I don't know which 4, but I'm banking on it being Martin and Strus for sure, and Jovic are the 3. And then it's up to, does Lowry go for 45, 50? Does Kane go for 35-ish? Like, at least 3 of these guys, because of their prices, like Martin, Strus, and Jovic are all probably going for 30+. And because of their prices, 30+ is very valuable. Now that's what I'm saying. Does Lowry go for 45-ish? He could. Does he go for 50? Like, if Lowry goes for 50, he's probably optimal, but I won't have him 100%.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we do got to get to DK. Of course, we want to get to some questions. Albert, for instance, in the YouTube chat says, what is the winning lineup for a takedown? Just a simple question. He just wants to know, what is the winning lineup? No biggie. We'll get to that.
That is what I'm trying to figure out as well. But what I want to say to Albert is I am doing something in my main lineup that I almost never have. Like, I want to say I have never done before in my entire life.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I'm up here in MME mode, and I have not officially done my main lineup. Thank you. You're a blessing.
I almost forgot it too.
Oh my gosh, that would have been awful.
Do those real quick. Jeez. I got to mention FanDuel is sponsoring this show. FanDuel Single Entry Series is back for NFL. Reserve your entry at the $5, $33, $100 tier. Get in on the action. It's weekly and seasonal prizes. It's fantastic. Shout out to our leaders after the 3rd week of contest. Puck Rat at first right now. Hey. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook as well if you're in your legal sports betting state. Take advantage of the bonus offer. New customers get the no sweat first bet up to $1K. Terms and conditions do apply. Let's talk some DK. TJ, take it away.
So on DraftKings today, it's the same story as it is on FanDuel, but these Heat are an even bigger priority because they're even cheaper. So like Nikola Jovic, 3.5K, Caleb Martin's sub 5K, 4.9. They're the priorities, but they don't have the same positional eligibility as they do on FanDuel. So on DraftKings, you got Strus only power forward. I think he's the Miami player in cash games that if I had to leave somebody off, it probably would be, but I wouldn't. I'm playing Strus. I'm playing Martin. I'm playing Jovic. I'm playing all three of them. I think on it's more viable to play Kyle Lowry in cash on DraftKings, but I would still prioritize Bones Highland over top of him. I'm personally just going kind of under the field on Lowry today, assuming that if this game gets really ugly, he's the first one that that's going to be yanked from the game. And so I think you can play somebody like a Haywood Highsmith in there as well. I'd rank my Miami Heat players on DraftKings: Jovic 1, Martin 2, Strus 3, Highsmith 4, Kane 5, Lowry 6. Great GIF usage there. That's how I'd want to do it. You see, Dre talked about this on the stream before. DeAndre Jordan, somebody who's projecting well at the big position. I'm not playing DeAndre Jordan today. Get him out of my lineups. That's somebody I'd be full fading. But sorry, back to cash games. Because of how DraftKings functions, instead of starting at the point guard and going all the way through, I just kind of want to start at Miami Heat and then build from priorities from there. And so again, it's Jovic 1, Martin 2, Strus 3, Highsmith 4, Lowry 5 for me, and then the bench guys coming in second. But I would prioritize after the big three of the Heat, and that's Strus, Jovic, and Martin. I would prioritize Bones Highland next. He'd be priority number 1 for me. My favorite spend up is still the kind of mid-tier, looking at guys like Devin Booker and Tyrese Halliburton. But if you have the salary to go all the way up, I don't think I would actually want to do that with Giannis today on DraftKings. He's 12.6. That's not that's not the way I'd want to spend my salary. I would rather do it with somebody like a Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay, very good. Anything else you want to talk about cash-wise here, TJ?
I don't think so. Like, you should have 4 Miami Heat players at the very least on DraftKings. Make sure you have Bones Highland in there, and anything else, as long as you have 4 Heat and Bones, it's probably fine.
Okay, very good. Chief, what's different on DK to FanDuel, or is it the same idea? You're taking all the chalk, you're eating it, and then you're mix and matching those final pieces.
Yeah, mostly doing some of the same just because of kind of how the slate is breaking out. Now, I will say Bones, I think Miami and Bones is even more of a priority on DK today in terms of Jovic, Martin. Jovic and Martin, I feel like are, extreme primary plays to me on DK, along with Bones, where Bones is, I think, 5K on DK versus 5,800 on FanDuel. So I think he's even more of a priority. Same thing kind of for me, and I know I'm talking about Jaden Ivey a lot, but he's 6,400 on DK, which makes him, pretty much more of a priority for me there as well. But I did want to mention those guys and get them in there because I do think
Gordon Hayward is in. Sorry to interrupt you, Chief, but Gordon Hayward is in. That's a small amount of news that we were waiting for, if that affects anything for you.
Yeah. No, well, I'm good. And then once again, Joel Embiid is, he's close to the top of my list for center. I do really like Kristaps Porzingis for what it's worth. Like, he's actually been playing really well. And if this game stays tight, he could very well be on his way to another potential 50 spot here. So I really like Porzingis on both sides. And we're looking at his ownership, and it's very low. But I'm getting really good correlation here on a Porzingis play that nobody's on, but we're all on the Miami side. So I just want to point that out, that I do think, Kristaps Porzingis has another huge game today.
Okay, I like it. And he can certainly put up the fantasy points, right? On DK, you get the 3-point bonus. You can block some shots, so he can certainly get those numbers up, double bonus without a doubt. All right, anything else you want to add here, or we've got 12 whole minutes for QQs?
Yes, más cuestiones.
Okay, let's do it. I imagine there's going to be a ton of them. A reminder, I'm always starting in that RG Discord, so make sure you're hanging out there. And then I will pivot over to the YouTube once we catch up on all the RG Discord ones. Let's start with Mike, Fanduel GPP. Want to fade the Nugs. They kind of sucked when they were chalk last time playing without Jokic. What are your thoughts? Chief, any interest?
I mean, I think you gotta. This is more my common sense explanation, but if you take them the first time and they fail you, then you're gonna be feeling really bad when you fade them the next time and they go slap off. So if they're in a good spot, the idea is you just take them and roll with the punches.
Yeah. Okay.
And Bones Highland is just going to have the ball in his hands at all time today. He might set a record for most dribbles in a game.
Okay. Speaking of which, here Gamble says if Bones doesn't start, do we still play him in FanDuel Cash? TJ, there's really not much to swap to with it at his price.
Yes, you do, but I also think it makes it somewhat of a priority because Bruce Brown would be the starting point guard. Mm-hmm. And so I think that makes Bruce Brown as viable as somebody like Dylan Brooks today.
Okay, very good. Aside with the FanDuel Cash, this is a 3v3. TJ, you want Lowry, Giannis, and Şengün? That sounds good. Or Morant, Turner, and Wendell Carter. Revenge narrative.
Projections say the first one. That is the answer. My tournament brain kind of tells me I like the second one better.
Okay, but for FanDuel Cash.
Yeah, like the projections say it's the first one.
Okay, GD says, I know nothing about Highsmith and Kane. Highsmith is starting. Who's the better play on DK? TJ?
I'm going with Highsmith, but I truly don't know. And neither does anybody else in the world.
Yeah, and does that make Kane a fair... by the way, Zion is out tonight. This just came across here on Twitter here. Willie Green says Zion Williamson, right foot contusion, will not play tonight. So, Chief, with Zion out, was it McCollum that you had more interest in?
Yeah, I like McCollum here. He should be getting involved. I know the last time Brandon Ingram just weaseled his way to 8 assists, but that's not his game actually. So, see in the spot.
Okay, very good. Back to the QQs here. Going to go with Steve O. This is a DK GPP single entry, Chief. Steph and Davis or Embiid and SGA?
Embiid SGA.
Very good. DK Cash. TJ, what are your thoughts on using the non-Miami Bones salary? I don't know what the hell that means, but what are your thoughts on using the non-Miami / Bones salary on Green / Halliburton and Embiid?
I like that build, but that definitely sounds more of like a tournament thing than a cash thing.
Oh, I get it. You mean basically with the leftover money. How do you feel about Green, Halliburton, and Embiid in DK?
Then yeah, with the Miami guys, then yeah, hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yes. Okay. Right. That took me a second, but I got it. All right. Let's run up the old YouTube channel here. This is a fun one from AC. He says, talk Beal versus this B team that Miami's throwing out there. Is Beal going to get the minutes and the usage, TJ?
It really depends on, like, if this Miami B team keeps this game close, the Beals, the Porzingises, maybe even the Kuzmas, they could be slate breakers today. But the most likely outcome is that this game turns pretty ugly, which is why I'm kind of a little bit off on somebody like Kyle Lowry and not super high on Bradley Beal, and would just rather go with these super duper cheap guys we've never seen play before.
Yeah, it is interesting to talk about playing 4 guys in a tournament on this team, and we're not talking that much about run backs. Chief, you mentioned Zinger as a run back. Anybody else?
He's my favorite. Denny Osby has been playing really, really well. for what it's
Can I
worth,
actually
like,
get a piece in quick? Something that I'm doing in my MMEs just at the last second here that I think is a good idea.
oh my
Um,
gosh, oh man. Sorry, go ahead.
Everything's
I'm
clicking
using
for everybody.
Kyle Lowry as a conditional player in the player groups in lineup HQ, and I'm putting to use at least one of Beal and Porzingis and Kuzma in every one of those lineups that have Kyle Lowry, because if Kyle Lowry's playing, it's because the game is close. And if Kyle Lowry's not playing, it's a blowout, and those guys aren't going to be needed in my lineup.
That makes a lot of sense. There's no use having those guys essentially if you
and
have
it'll get
Lowry.
me overweight on the to the field on guys like Beal and Porzingis and make it specifically in those Lowry lineups.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Let's see here. Dead P says, any interest in Julius Randle? Calling that a tournament question for you, Chief.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind guys that are athletic against the Warriors right now. I mean, we've kind of seen a trend here where bigs have been getting it done. So Julius Randle is their best big man right now, even though I know the center's been out, Mitch Rob, and they've been playing the other guy. But Julius is the little engine that could here. So I'd be rolling with Julius for sure.
Okay, very good. Max Coverage says, on DK, you want Turner or Şengün, Chief?
Turner.
Very good. Hammer says, any Trey Murphy love, TJ?
Chief, do you know what his price is on DraftKings? If he's still cheap on DraftKings, if he's still sub 4,500, yes, he's viable. On FanDuel, he's a bit too pricey for me.
All right, very good. Blast with a call here. He says,
but that's only in tournament. Sorry, that's specifically a tournament thing.
Right, definitely. All right. Blast says Rui ceiling night. Anybody interested in Rui? Does he score enough to want to play? Chief, you got any Rui?
I think I don't. Well, a little, but I think what you're doing is you're playing the blowout angle. Is what's happening here. Like that. That's what's happening if you're playing with. It's the blowout angle extremely. He could get there in 25 minutes in this spot. Personally, I do have more Denny Avdia than Rui for what it's worth.
Okay, very good. Back to the QQs here and back to the old RG Discord as well. We've got NBA DFS in the house, FanDuel Cash, TJ Ingram, Şengün, or Booker and Bol.
Booker and Bol.
Very good. DKGPP Chief, this one's coming to you from Raj. Curry or Ja Morant?
One more time.
It's a DKGPP, Curry or Ja?
Oh, just Curry straight up. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going with Ja tonight.
Okay, very good. Carolina guy, FanDuel, single entry, Chief, your very favorite spend up over on FanDuel.
Believe it or not, it's Kristaps Porzingis.
Yes.
Yeah,
I like it.
I really like Joel Embiid, but I'm gonna have more Kristaps than Joel for what it's worth. I have my own weird question here. I'm gonna kick this from the TJ since we're on the show together, and also the chat themselves. This is kind of a reverse analyst question. Would you guys? How do you feel about Tatum and Halliburton? Right, Tatum and Halliburton, or going all the way up to Giannis and playing CJ McCollum. And this is our FanDuel. So it's Giannis CJ or Tatum Halliburton.
I think I would go with Tatum Halliburton.
That's where I am. I was just wondering. That's where
Tyrese Halliburton is my 5th highest owned player today.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah, we got a few more QQs here coming in. Are guys like Ja, SGA, and AD going to be overlooked on this slate from J Sams? This is in FanDuel. Chief, you think they're going overlooked and underowned?
I think somewhat. I think Ja will look at the ownership projections. I'm doing that. I feel like Ja's going to be more popular than AD for sure. Like, I don't see any reason to play Anthony Davis tonight for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
zero.
If those 3 guys are overlooked and have a big day, then I will be making a lot of money along with our viewer. I'll just say that. I got that's kind of my biggest way I'm trying to get get some leverage on the field today is I'm underweight. I'm playing 150 and I'm playing all of this Miami chalk. I'm underweight on Giannis and Luka, and I'm going to be heavily overweight on the mid-range expensive guys like Halliburton and like even up to the 10K guys. Halliburton, Devin Booker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, John Morant, Steph Curry, and even a little bit of Anthony Davis.
Okay, very good. Carolina guy
and
says,
Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah. All right. How many?
Go ahead.
Yeah. What's up, Chief? You good?
KJ Martin, I think, is in play for me tonight for what it's worth. Like with no KPJ, I was just sitting here.
Just announced in the starting lineup.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, KJ Martin is probably going to have a good night.
Okay.
All right.
Very good. Let's see. Any interest in Zeke Naji on FanDuel?
No.
No. Okay. Steve O says AD. What about AD if LeBron doesn't play? We're expecting LeBron to play, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, if LeBron is out, then I think you can for sure play some AD. Yeah.
Okay. Chief, coming right back at you here. We got about a minute until lock, by the way, guys. FanDuel GPP from Mike. I'm landing on Sims at center, like Dre from the last show. I'm pairing him with Wiggins as last pieces on a late night hammer. Any interest?
Yeah, I don't mind that for tournaments. Wiggins has had some games this year. Jericho Sims facing that same defense. I don't mind that at all.
Okay, very good. A bunch of people saying, hey, love the show. Great stuff. Give us that like. Hit the little thumbs up button right there. Hit that like on your way out the door here. Noel Huffman says Ingram or Brown. TJ, I'm giving that one to you. Ingram or Brown?
Ingram.
Very good. Less than a minute until lock. Looking, seeing if we're caught up on all the questions everywhere. Here we go, Freyas.
Last switch in.
DK Cash, Miles Turner, Ja, or Embiid, Jalen Green?
Embiid, Jalen Green.
Very good. Very good. Very good. I think somebody that we know is winning 50 grand tonight. I think it might be somebody right in front of me. TJ, you feeling good? You feeling okay? You're creeping me out with that face.
I got seconds to spare.
Look, I'm feeling good tonight myself, man.
Yeah.
Someone tell me if it locks.
It locked, I think. It locked. Had I known you were doing that, I would not have thrown a question your way at the very end.
No, you're good. Don't worry about that. Yeah,
Right.
I didn't get him. Shoot. That's all right. I just got some adjusting to do. I realized when somebody asked that question about Zeke Naji that for some reason something screwed up, and I accidentally have Zeke Naji in 14 of my 150 lineups. And so I was trying to make some switches in there, get him out of the pool, add more KJ Martin, but I can do that manually after. It's not a big deal. The lineups are still good.
Okay, so those haven't locked already.
That specific
No.
Zeke Naji hasn't. Tobias Harris just got ruled out.
Yep, I kind of figured that was coming. Which is why I like Embiid so much tonight, to be honest with you. So if this game is competitive, Embiid should have a field day. Speaking of which, I mean, were you guys around for the Embiid over 100 fantasy point game? Like, oh my gosh.
I had him that night. Yeah, that was nice.
My God.
That was on crunch time when I said to play him in tournaments.
Yes, I remember that we were talking him up. I do remember that. Let's see here. Caught up on all the questions. A couple more questions. These might be post-lock. We'll get to these and then we'll bounce here. This is a fun one. What's it going to take to win like a big tournament here? How many points? Chief?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say on FanDuel, you're probably going to be somewhere around 460 tonight.
It's so silly. It's amazing.
I'm serious though. Like
I agree.
I mean, on really good nights recently, it's been what 440, 450ish. Like it. I'm gonna go. I'm thinking 460 is your number here.
That's wild. All right. A couple questions and then we'll bounce here. Mellow Rose says, Chief, KJ Martin and Bol or Jeff Green and Joe Val?
I don't like Bol, but I think I like Martin better than Green, so I'm going with the Martin Bol.
Okay, very good. Fanduel, last piece, Sims or Zeke at center? TJ, Sims or Zeke at center?
I would go Zeke.
Very good. Gamble, and this is a 4v4? Is that what this is?
It may be.
That's aggressive, but I'll allow it. FanDuel Cash. It actually looks like a 4v3, but I'm just going to read it as is. FanDuel Cash, TJ, Embiid. Oh, I see. Embiid, KJ Martin, and Halliburton, or Bones, Giannis, and Miles Turner.
Second one.
Very good. Duff, DK Cash, Embiid, Ayton, or Curry Şengün? Last question of the day.
Curry Şengün.
Very good. Gentlemen, I think with that, we should say goodbye. You guys should watch your lineups put up roughly 440, 450, 460. Something in that. Something that'll work, right? You take it?
I mean, I don't know. I absolutely take the 460. 440 tonight might not be enough. Like, you may not even be top 10 at 440, which is crazy.
That is that's pretty wild. All right, hey,
back in the day, we were taking it down like in the 380s. Back in the day,
we were taking it down at like 308.
Right. If I ever crack 300, I feel like I've really accomplished something. So for TJ, for Chief, for our wonderful production team, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.